Tuesday, my friends, and welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. And thank you very much for joining us, no matter where you're streaming us from. We're currently live on Facebook, YouTube, and on the Huddle Sports Network. You can find that on your Roku device. But thank you very much for joining us. I'm your host, David On Point Huppin. Right there, my co-host, Mr. T.J. Hopkins. And also from the Daily Blitz.blog, Mr. Christian Simpson's also in the house. Welcome into the show, my friends. Happy Tuesday. How is everybody doing?
Pretty good, and you?
I'm doing well, man. I cannot complain. But yeah, on today's episode of The Prime, we're going to be breaking down Monday Night Football from week number 11 very briefly because it was hardly a game. We're going to be giving out our game balls from week number 11, and then we're going to open up that chapter of this NFL season book to week number 12, as only we can here at Prime Sports World. And thank you very much for joining us. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Monday Night Football, gentlemen. The Houston Texans and Joe Mixon absolutely took care of business against the Dallas Cowboys, winning this game 34-10 and making Jerry Jones' life miserable in Jerry World, as they have not won a game there this season. That's a tough break for the Dallas Cowboys so far this year, 34-10, and the ship seems to be going south real fast for this football team.
Seems to be.
Or is going south, whatever you want to say. On the Houston Texans side, still C.J. Stroud, he threw the one pick. Yeah, it was better in this game than he has in the last couple, but yeah, he's kind of hit that sophomore slump a little bit this year. He hasn't been nearly as efficient as he was the year before. I know a lot of that has to do, Nico Collins was unavailable for a few weeks, and, he doesn't have Stephon Diggs anymore, but this offense just hasn't clicked the way we thought it would for C.J. Stroud. But 23 of 34, 257 yards, and that one interception that I referenced earlier in the show. This was absolutely the Joe Mixon show, though. 20 carries, 106 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Nico Collins returned from the IR and put in 4 catches, 54 yards. Joe Mixon also had 44 receiving yards in this game. On the other side, Cooper Rush, for some reason, threw the football 55 times in this game. There is no scenario where Cooper Rush should be throwing the football 55 times in any game, in any situation, no matter what is going on in the NFL. He threw a touchdown. He threw a pick. Rico Dalla, 10 carries for 28 yards. And CeeDee Lamb also had a fantastic game, 93 yards. And Turpin had a touchdown. A long touchdown, 64 yards, where he basically just juked his corner, took it to the house.
I mean, what's there really to say?
Right. Cooper Rush showed why he's a backup. Like he hung in there as long as they could. It was 17-10. Right. He had that one play to Cavante Turpin that went for 64 yards and a touchdown. And like this is one of those, like Dallas right now was one of those teams where, like when you play a good team and it's a close game like that, and you can taste it, you're so close, you want to do everything to get that game, and then inevitably you fall apart. And you scored 10 points in the first half and you didn't score again. Like it's the smallest thing that could break momentum. You get Brandon Aubrey past midfield, which is in his range, and he slips. Right, like he
hits it off the cross. I mean, he slipped it. He still almost made it, like crazy. Like,
right. So instead of 10 points, you could have had 13. And I don't know, like maybe momentum's a little different if it's 17-13 versus 17-10, or whatever the score was when he slipped on that field goal. Like Cooper Rush shouldn't be throwing the ball 55 times. That's just, but at the same time, when you can't run the ball, what else are you gonna do?
I mean, that's true. I mean, it's ineffective. I mean, this offensive line hasn't been good in this. Was it Nick Martin got injured in this game? Didn't return. Looked kind of bad.
It's
Doug
CJ,
Martin. Nick? Is it Nick Martin?
Mm-hmm.
That name is escaping me.
It is what it is. Like Christian kind of said it though. Like ain't too much more to be said. Like the only thing that baffles me is that Jerry Jones continues to say how surprised he is at how things going. It's like, dude, you can't be. You the one that put the team together. You can't be surprised and shocked.
Zach Martin. I apologize. Zach Martin.
You can't be surprised and shocked about at how bad things are going when you're the reason why they're going that bad.
So Brandon Aubrey missed that field goal that would have made it 17-13. Dallas did not score again in the game, or really get close to scoring in the game again. So
I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible.
But yeah, I don't think there's too much. The Houston Texans are still, they are benefit by the fact that they play in one of the weakest divisions in football. But Joe Mixon has been absolutely everything that they thought he would be when they brought him in. He's just been incredible in this, and he was incredible in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, before we move on into week number 12, let's talk about our game balls, and I'll let TJ have the floor first for his game ball.
I got two. I'm gonna go Joe Mixon because Joe Mixon did Joe Mixon things, and I just know Cincinnati miss him right now. But 3 touchdowns, just know Cincinnati, and the other one's not a player. It's the Thomas Brown, the offensive coordinator that called the Bears game. It's like, dude, thank you for reminding people that Caleb Williams is actually good at football, and that coaching is definitely the problem here in Chicago.
Christian.
I'm going to go Anthony Richardson. I'm really proud of how he navigated and how he took full advantage of being benched. He turned a negative situation into something positive, and Sunday against the Jets was the best I've seen him look on a football field. 20 of 30, 272 yards, averaged almost 14 yards per pass, and he threw 1 touchdown. But most importantly, no interceptions. And he didn't play hero ball, didn't put the cape on, just played ball. He led and his team followed him.
Yeah, I was going to give mine to Anthony Richardson as well, but Christian obviously stole mine. I got 2, though. I'm going to go with Bo Nix getting my game ball. Maybe had the best quarterback play game of the entire weekend. 28 of 33, 307 yards and 4 touchdowns. Most importantly, did not have a single turnover in this game. So shout out to Bo Nix. He's turned out a really solid rookie season. And for a Denver team that is better than people thought they'd be. And then obviously my other game ball is going to go to Josh Allen, who had the MVP kind of moment as he kind of barreled through some Kansas City Chiefs on his way into the end zone. But can he get over the hump when the playoffs, when it matters most? That will be seen. But Josh Allen, that had to be a good win for that Buffalo Bills squad to knock Kansas City off the ranks of the undefeated. So moving on to week number 12, and let's start first with Thursday night football, and we're going to start with a bitter rivalry in the NFC North. Maybe not so much this season, given how the directions of these two squads, but many people at the beginning of the season would have predicted these records would be the opposite of these two teams. But Pittsburgh comes in at 8-2, going into Cleveland and taking on the 2-8 Cleveland Browns. Gentlemen, how do you see this one shaking out? Christian, I'll let you have the floor first.
I like the Steelers. I just like the momentum that they're playing with right now. Across the board, they're running the ball. Russell Wilson is doing Russell Wilson-like things. And Cleveland, they just don't have enough, I feel, to keep up with them offensively. Defensively, yeah, I think they can make a little bit of noise, but you still got to put points up on the other side of the ball at the end of the day. And like I said to you yesterday, David, I think this is Mike Tomlin's best job yet as a Steelers head coach. 8-2, and nobody could have missed it.
I think he's going to run away with Coach of the Year. Like, this should be like a unanimous award. Like, for really, he's done an immaculate job with two quarterbacks that played for this team. They both have won games. Mike Tomlin has absolutely. He's probably I think he should win Coach of the Year for sure. I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers too. I just don't think that's a difficult prediction to make. This Pittsburgh Steelers defense is prone to make offenses, really good offenses, make mistakes. Jameis Winston is a mistake-filled quarterback at times, even if he will put up gaudy numbers. But I'm going with Steelers. I don't think this will be that close. It might not even be an entertaining game on a Thursday night.
Sweep it.
From there, let's go into Sunday afternoon, and let's first start at Soldiers Field as we got the Minnesota Vikings coming into Chicago and taking on me and TJ Chicago Bears. Minnesota Vikings hit near at 8-2. Bears obviously losing that game to Green Bay. Minnesota beating the Tennessee Titans the last time they were on the football field. I'm with Christian, me and Christian talked about this a little bit yesterday. I'm just not totally sold on the Minnesota Vikings. Like they played against two bad football teams in the Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars in the last 2 weeks, and
They're
the Colts the
relatively
week before
close
that.
games.
And they were all three of those games were relatively close. Even with Indianapolis turning the football over, I'm taking the Chicago Bears in a little mini upset here. I think the Bears, they showed some signs here, and this Minnesota Vikings defense is playing way over their head. I do realize that they can generate a crazy pass rush, and they may make Caleb Williams' day at the office pretty tough. But this secondary for Minnesota is nothing to write home about. I'm taking the Bears. TJ.
Yeah, Brian Flores is 100% gonna
Blitz. Yeah, I mean, he's blitzing
man,
more than any coordinator in the NFL right now. So
when they played, oh my God, it was, I forgot who they played earlier this season, but they blitzed the Bears like they blitzed the Bears like crazy. I'm willing to bet that whatever that number was, Brian Flores is gonna surpass that. I'm willing to bet he's gonna blitz a good 90% of the time. Because I just I just don't have faith in the O line to hold up long enough to give Caleb time. As much as I want to pick the Bears, I don't think I can. We're tired of the moral victories here. Like I don't want to hear the Caleb Williams look great on that last drive. Like I don't want to hear that no more. Because the last three quarterbacks we've had, we got 40 games worth of moral victories between the three of them, where we can point out the good stuff that they did that didn't amount to a win. So it's, I don't know, like as much as I want to pick the Bears, I can't.
Christian.
David, I'm with you. I'm taking the Chicago Bears. I think they snapped the skid at home. We saw the offense come back to life, and sometimes those in-season coaching changes can provide a spark. You've seen it in New Orleans. They've won their last two games under Darren Rizzi. Thomas Brown comes in and he simplifies the playbook. And that just goes to show you how much Shane Waldron was truly an issue. I just don't like what I've seen from Minnesota these last couple of weeks. And the last time they actually put together a complete football game was when they played Houston. And that was all the way back in September. They've had problems since they were in London against the Jets. Didn't look good against the Lions, struggled against the Rams, struggled against the Colts, had a tough time with Jacksonville, and didn't even look all that great against Tennessee. And these division games are always tough. I like the Bears.
From there, staying with at least one NFC North team, we got the 9-1 Detroit Lions going into the house that Peyton Manning built, taking on the 5-6 Indianapolis Colts. Both of these teams are coming off taking W's against the Jacksonville Jaguars and New York Jets, respectively. The last time these two teams played was 4 years ago. Christian, do you remember who won that game 4 years ago?
I think
almost to the date, actually.
It was Indy.
Indy did win this game 41-21 as they basically almost doubled up the Detroit Lions. But how do you think this shakes out in 2024?
I think this is a trap game for Detroit. Indy plays teams tough. Sometimes they're not on the winning end of things, but they know how to stick it to teams. I think the Lions escape with a victory, but the Colts are going to make them earn this one.
I'm also taking the Lions too. I know that like the trap game, all that stuff, but I think the Lions are just the better football team. They're the best team in the NFL right now. I don't think Dan Campbell is going to allow this team to get complacent. Give me the Lions. TJ.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson, you really want to win the Masters over? Win this game. I don't see it happening though. Give me the Lions.
Swinging into the AFC East as we got the first one of the first divisional round matchups in this on this week's slate. Starting in the AFC East with the Patriots going into South Beach and taking on the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins coming off getting a victory that may have saved their season. Welcoming the New England Patriots who fell. I can't remember who they played last week, but I know they lost. They're now 3-8. Rams, thank you. Yes, very much. Thank you. TJ, how do you think this version shakes out with the Dolphins still alive in the AFC and the Patriots are just the Patriots at this point?
The Patriots are just the Patriots. Yeah, give me the Dolphins. I still think if you're Miami, it's too little too late. When Tua went down, you didn't have that surefire backup plan. You went back and forth between Skylar Thompson and why is his name escaping me? Tyler Huntley, and it just didn't work. Um, Again, you're gonna win this game, but I just think it's too little, too late in terms of like their playoff chances down in Miami.
Christian.
I like Miami as well. Across the board, they have too much. New England could play them tough. I mean, they stuck around with the Rams until the Rams just pulled away. But I just like what I'm seeing from Miami right now. Tua's healthy, spreading the ball out to the wide receiver. I mean, they have a three-headed monster on that offense, and Devin Achane, Jalen Waddle, and Tyreek Hill. But I like Miami at home in this one.
I hear what you're saying about the Miami Dolphins and their offensive fortitude. But let's talk about how good this defense has been the last couple weeks, especially the last 2 weeks. They went up against the Raiders and they went up the Rams. They gave up a combined 36 points or 34 points. Math is not my strong suit, but they have been a stifling defense in the last 2 weeks. And this is a New England Patriots offense that doesn't really have the weapons that really kind of intimidate an offense. Really, like you're not worried about any of their wide receivers. I mean, Roger Stevenson's a fine running back, but he's not really putting the fear into you. I'm taking Miami, but it's more about their defense, I think, than their offense. Because I kind of think this might be a low-scoring game. Because I think Patriots are going to play hard. They play hard for Gerard Mayo.
Mm-hmm.
From there, we're going to swing into the NFC, and we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 4-6 coming off their bye, going to take on Danny DeVito and the pride of, I can't remember what they talked about last season with the pride of Danny DeVito, but he's going to be the quarterback for the New York Giants as the Daniel Jones era of New York Giants football appears to be over. Last time these two teams locked horns was 3 years ago, almost to the date, actually, November 22nd. 2001. Tampa Bay beat the Giants 30-10. Christian, how do you think your New York Football Giants are going to fare this year?
Well, I think Tommy's going to give him a spark. He did that last year, and a lot of people here were comparing that to Linsanity almost. I won't go that far, but okay, whatever floats your boat. At the end of the day, the Buccaneers are a better team. Yeah, I know they may not have Mike Evans, and I know they don't have Chris Godwin, but
Mike Evans might be back for this game. He was projected to be returned after their bye week, and they just had their bye week, so it's possible he may play.
It's possible.
It's possible. But
I mean, if you're Tampa Bay, I think you could beat this Giants team without Mike Evans. Maybe you don't rush him back.
Yeah, I think you can too. I'm taking the Buccaneers in this one, David.
Me too. Obviously, the bigger story here isn't Tommy DeVito. I almost called his ass Danny DeVito. I swear to God, I
think I did say Danny DeVito when I was talking about it at the beginning of the show. When I was starting this segment, I think I did say Danny DeVito.
I caught myself. Man, it's like the bigger story here is the Daniel Jones fiasco. Like you can't I forgot his name, the Giants GM right now. Like, bro, like I don't think no seat is hotter than yours right now. Like
especially after Joe Douglas was fired today.
The Jets fired Joe Douglas.
Joe Douglas, yeah.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Joe Schoen is the GM. Yeah, Schoen is the GM of the New York Giants right now, currently.
Like, bro, your seat your seat can't be hotter than what it is right now. Like you fumbled the Saquon fiasco. You haven't figured out the offensive line. You've been having offensive line issues since the ghost of Eli was out there playing for you. You missed and now this. You paid Daniel Jones. You gave Daniel Jones a bag. And you bench him. And it's clear that you're going quarterback in the draft next April. And if I'm 100%,
I think the Giants are going to clear house. I think the head coach will be out. I think the GM will be out. I think they will completely start fresh in New York.
Like this is a coach that won Coach of the Year. Like this is
I mean, but this is
crazy. Like
this is very much a league that it's like, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah,
And
but David,
the last
also
two
look at it.
seasons.
Yeah, but also look at it like this: when a new head coach comes in, he wants his own quarterback.
And I understand that too, but at the same time, let's look at it. Let's look at it like this: like, what have you given Daniel Jones to be successful? The left tackle you drafted has been ass.
Both of them have been ass. I mean, Andrew Thomas has been fine when he's on the field, but he's hurt so much. Like, and then Evan Neal has been absolutely not good. Like, he can't even get on the field. I'm not sure.
It took you to this year to finally find a number one receiver in Malik Neighbors. You let Odell walk, which we all saw that coming, or you traded Odell away. We all saw that coming. And then you gave Daniel Jones a bag of bones when he wasn't even a bag of bones himself. He was less than, and said, "Hey, go win me games." And then you wondered why you struggled. So you're going to go to Tommy DeVito. You're going to tank the last 4 or 5 games, however many games are left. You're going to tank those. And if I'm a quarterback in the draft, if I'm Shador, if I'm Cam Ward, if I'm Jackson Dart, whoever's coming out, I'm 100% pulling the Eli. And I'm like, hey, I'm not going there. I don't care about playing in New York. I don't care. I don't love New York that much to be like, hey, I'm going to play for the Giants. Like the media
people talk about that happening, like literally almost never happens. Like it's been 20 years. I mean, it happens every 20 years. Like it's not going to happen.
But it should happen. And like everybody wants to, like their selling point is like, hey man, your face is going to be all over Broadway and Times Square. I don't care. Don't care.
I mean, it's just a bad football situation. But I think the Giants are going to clear house on this route. I think the head coach will be out. I think the GM will be out. They will start fresh.
And if they do, that's just another name. That's what's built.
And I also because we've seen what happens in Chicago. I hate to get on another tangent here, but like if you were to keep Brian Daboll and like he's basically coaching for his job, and you give him a new quarterback, we've seen in Chicago that just doesn't work. If you're going to fire Brian Daboll, if he's on the hot seat, if there's any question if he's the guy moving forward, you should fire him.
Which is also why I don't think Brian Daboll should lose his job, because again, he did take this guy to the playoffs. He did take him to the playoffs.
And I'm hearing what you're saying, but if you have any doubts that he's not the right guy, I think you got to fire him. Because if you're just gonna fire him after this season, anyways, if things don't go well, which they probably won't, because the Giants stink, and they have like outside of adding a new quarterback to the New York Giants doesn't automatically fix the rest of their problems.
Because like to me, Brian Daboll is not the issue in New York.
But all that being said, I'm taking the Buccaneers to win this game. They're a better football team right now than the Giants are. And I think, Tommy DeVito, yes, it's going to be a great story that ESPN is going to tell all week long, but it won't matter. Moving on from there, swinging into the NFC East versus the NFC East. And we got the 3-7 Dallas Cowboys going into Washington and taking on the 7-4 Commanders. Both these teams are coming off taking L's. Houston Texans and the Philadelphia Eagles, respectively. Christian, how do you think this shakes out? Commanders, Cowboys in Landover, Maryland.
If there were ever a get right game for the Commanders, I think this is it. They win this game. The Cowboys I don't like what they're putting on the field. The Commanders get back on track. Jayden Daniels could have a career day against.
Yeah, I'm taking the Commanders too. The Dallas Cowboys look completely defeated, and they look like they're just going through the motions at this point. CeeDee Lamb looks like he's going through the motions. If I was Dallas, actually, I would probably be playing Trey Lance for the remainder of the season.
Yeah,
I don't need to see Cooper Rush play another snap in the NFL. Find out if Trey Lance is any good at all. Like maybe he doesn't play for Dallas, but maybe you can flip him for a draft pick or something after the season. Trade him. He should be playing every game for the rest of the way.
Like the Cowboys and the Bears, they got the same problem. They got people in football positions that don't realize they're the problem or fail to realize they're the problem. Like George McCaskey, Jerry Jones, two sides of the same coin. You're the problem. I wholeheartedly believe if they just remove themselves from the equation, like if Jerry Jones fires himself as the GM and actually hires an actual GM, I guarantee you life in Dallas would be better. Washington, hey, like Christian, when you say career game, what we talking? Like we talking 3 on the ground, 1 on 3 in the air, 1 on the ground for Jaden.
Look, I could see him accounting for about 5 or 6 touchdowns, TJ. Like seriously,
We talking 350 through the air, another 110,
yeah,
115.
yeah, I can see that. I think Brian Robinson Jr. could have a big game, and I just think this defense is just going to absolutely tee off on the Cowboys. And to David's point, they're defeated. There's no confidence. This team is throwing the towel in, and dare I say it, I think they've given up on Mike McCarthy. They don't want to play for him anymore.
I agree with you. Swinging into the final couple games here in the late afternoon window. Let's start first in Carolina as the Kansas City Chiefs go into there to take on the Panthers. Obviously, both these teams coming off taking – actually, the Panthers, I think we're on a bye. Kansas City coming off of their first loss of the season to the Buffalo Bills. Last time these two teams played was 4 years ago, and it took a heroic effort by Kansas City to beat the Carolina Panthers 33-31. I did not think it would require such a heroic effort this time. I think got the Kansas City Chiefs bouncing back off their first loss of the season, and they beat Carolina relatively easily. TJ.
I remember that because Joey Sly, I forgot how far it was. Like I forgot how far the kick was. He had the leg, he just didn't have the actually. Like he hooked that motherfucker bad.
And Joey Sly hooks a lot of he's got the craziest leg in the NFL. He just can't aim it anywhere. Like it's unbelievable.
But yeah, I'm with you. This is not gonna take a missed field goal for them for the Chiefs to win this game. Now I expect as perfect of a Patrick Mahomes game as he could be. I'm talking 30 or 35, a good 380, 4 touchdowns, and this is probably over by the 7-minute mark in the third quarter. Like this is like that. This is thank God this is local TV only because this could be bad.
Christian.
Yeah, I like Kansas City, but I also want to say I think them losing that game can almost be a blessing in disguise because the further you go undefeated, like the harder it gets because okay, you're 10-0, cool. 11-0, you've clinched a playoff spot and you've won your division. 12-0, you
clinched the top seed.
Clinched the top seed. By 13-0, you have a decision to make as a head coach. Do we go for history, or do I want to win a championship? Do I pull players, or do I keep guys out, knowing that there's a possibility that someone could get hurt on any given play? So now I just think I don't know if the Chiefs are necessarily focusing on the path and the pursuit of perfection, but now I just think they can move on. The loss happened. We knew it was coming because they haven't looked all that great leading up to the Buffalo game. But yeah, I like Kansas City. Bryce Young is going to be a long day, young man.
Yeah, it's true. Say the final game in the late afternoon window, the Houston Texans welcome the Tennessee Titans into their house. Titans coming off taking that L against the Minnesota Vikings. Texans obviously beating the Cowboys on Monday Night Football. Christian, how do you think this game shakes out?
I like Houston. I mean, does anything else really need to be said? This could be one of those get right games for CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I'm taking Houston as well.
Yeah.
Moving on to a rematch of a playoff game from last season that went down to the wire. That was basically lost on a Jordan Love, Brett Favre-esque throwing attempt that ended up as a pick six for Trey Greenlaw, who will not play in this game. But San Francisco 49ers coming in at 5-5, going into Lambeau, taking on the 7-3 Green Bay Packers. Green Bay obviously beating the Chicago Bears on a game-losing blocked attempt, and San Francisco obviously allowing the Seattle Seahawks to steal a game from them. And Christian, do I have a sense of what's coming here?
Well, damn, you just gonna skip the Broncos and my Raiders?
You
Damn.
did.
No, my bad. We're all taking the Broncos, right?
Yes, we are. Next game.
Okay, let's move on. Let's go into the San Francisco 49ers and the Green Bay Packers.
David,
Yes, let's go.
It's that time. 1, 2, 3.
Shameless
Shameless
plug
plug,
number one.
baby. Yeah, this is a playoff rematch. When they last met, the 49ers just got by Green Bay based on a turnover. I'll be honest with you. The other day, someone asked me about Green Bay. What are the two main issues with them? One, they've committed 37 penalties, which is the sixth most in the NFL. And two, they sometimes just throw the ball all over the field and the other team comes away with it. I just think there's more tape now on Jordan Love than what there was last year, because last year was his debut season starting. San Francisco, they have no confidence right now. That was a game they should have won. They've been so consistently inconsistent this year, and they're not tough anymore. Teams are just running right into the teeth of that defense, and TJ echoes my sentiments all the time. TJ, what am I about to say? The what don't like to get bullied?
The bully don't like to be bullied.
And they've been punched in the mouth, left and right, nonstop. I preview this one on Thursday. Be on the lookout for it.
Yeah, I think the Green Bay. So the San Francisco 49ers, yeah, they had 3 tough losses for sure this season, where they games that they should have lost, that they let slip away through the cracks. This is games in Lambeau, but Jordan Love has just kind of been he's become like Phillip Rivers 2.0. Like, he's going to give you one in almost every game so far this season that he's started. That's not a recipe for success going up against the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to take San Fran, but I would not be surprised at all if this is like a Green Bay game where they kind of hit on all cylinders and they curb stomp the San Francisco 49ers and they win this game fairly easily. But I will take San Fran. But I wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong.
Give me the Niners in a close one. Brock Purdy has shown a lot. I think the narrative about Brock Purdy has changed. It's gone from, oh, look at all the weapons he has, to now, like Brock Purdy can play the damn game, bro. Like, and again, I understand that narrative was a thing, but at the same time, if you're the 49ers, you're like, that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to make the game easier for our quarterback. Yes, we're going to put as much talent around him as possible because that's what we're supposed to do. Hey, other teams, why don't you try it? Exactly. To your Phillip Rivers point, hey, yeah, Jordan Love, I said it in the group chat jokingly, like he might be the new Mr. Give You One. Hey, no, he dead ass is the new Mr. Give You One. That interception he threw against the Bears was like, bro, what did you see? Like that,
it's still not as bad as that Patrick Mahomes pick against Buffalo. Let me tell you.
No, but Jordan Love, he wholeheartedly could have had 2 more. Like, Terrell Smith falls on he throws in the double coverage and Terrell Smith falls. Like, I don't know how you slip and fall on that one. And then I think it was another one. It was the crosser to Christian Watson, and Jalen Johnson falls. It's like, bro, how are y'all falling on these? Like, I swear, like, some of Jordan Love's completions are literally just luck. Like, you're throwing in the double coverage and like somebody falls, somebody stumbles, somebody does something to give your guy the edge. And this is not the defense that you want. This is not the defense that you want to give an opportunity to create extra opportunities for the offense. It's not that. It's not that. And if I'm San Fran, hey, a Chicago Bears team that struggled to run the ball consistently all season ran for 180 yards against them. What are we gonna do with the guys that we got? McCaffrey's back. They still got the other kid that's been running up and down the field all season, Jordan Mason. Like, so if DeAndre Swift and Caleb Williams did what they did and Roshan did what they did, what are they gonna like? What is a better offense gonna do? Seriously speaking.
Moving on from there, the final game in the late afternoon window, and it's a barn burner in the NFC West with the 6-4 Arizona Cardinals going into Lumen Field and taking on the 5-5 Seattle Seahawks. The Cardinals are coming into this matchup winners of 4 straight, including a victory over the New York Jets before their bye week. Seattle comes off getting a rabbit out of the hat against the San Francisco 49ers this most recent weekend. Christian.
David.
Oh, let's go, baby.
Let's go. Let's go. On my count. 1, 2, 3.
Shameless plug number 2.
Baby. Yeah, Arizona, I think they're one of the hottest teams in the National Football League right now. They're playing together collectively. But most importantly,
outside of the Eagles, I mean.
Yeah, most importantly, Kyler Murray is healthy. He's healthy, and he feels like he doesn't have to do everything. They're playing hard for Jonathan Gannon. Defensively, they're still a work in progress. Mm-hmm. And look at how they curb stomp the Jets. Well, everybody's doing that.
Everybody curb stomping the Jets.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, maybe I'll see Joe on Fifth Avenue. But then again, yeah, that's another topic for another discussion. Seattle saved their season, in my opinion. And I was looking back at their first 3 wins of the year, and 2 of those wins kind of look better now. David, they beat up on Denver, and look at what Denver's been. And Miami, that's still a little bit of a question mark because TJ did bring up a good point, but so did you about Miami being a different team when Tua is on the field. This is going to be a fun one. It's going to be hard hitting. I think it's going to be high scoring, and it's going to come down to the very last 2 minutes in the fourth quarter. I preview this one tomorrow. Be on the lookout.
TJ.
If it wasn't for the job that Mike Tomlin's doing, Jonathan Gannon, he could be in the Coach of the Year running.
I mean, also with Jim Harbaugh too, and
it's the big thing about, like, not only is Kyler healthy, Kyler's not making headlines for the wrong reason. Like, bro, when it was found out that they had to put a clause in your contract extension about watching film, that's not a good look. Like, when you're going home and you have the iPad to watch film and you just letting it run while you playing Call of Duty because that's what you were doing. Don't deny it. You just letting that motherfucker run like, hey, did you watch the film? Yeah, I watched it. And then you're going out there and messing up. Kyler Murray's not making headlines for the wrong reasons. Kyler Murray's showing why he got the bag that they gave him. I'm gonna take Seattle in a close one. I think these 2 teams are gonna try to mirror each other. Like, Arizona's gonna try to run through Seattle with James Conner, and Seattle should do the same thing with Kenneth Walker. I think whoever runs the ball best wins this game. I'm going with Seattle.
I'm also going to take the Seattle Seahawks. I think that the offense, yes, the Arizona Cardinals are a very nice story, but when they've gone up against high-powered offenses, what the Seattle Seahawks have the potential to be, they've lost. They lost to the Lions at a game where, even though the Lions didn't look particularly good in that game, they still, 20-13. They lost to the Bills on opening weekend, 34-28. They lost to Commanders, 42-14, and they lost to Green Bay, 34-13. This Seattle Seahawks team has the potential to put up massive points. They got a good running game. They got a pretty solid offensive line, and I'm not really sold on this defense for the Arizona Cardinals. Give me Seattle.
Yeah.
To Sunday Night Football, and we're going to talk about one of the hottest teams in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles, winners of 6 straight, going into beautiful SoFi Stadium and taking on the Los Angeles Rams. Last time these 2 teams played was actually last season. The Los Angeles Rams lost that game to the Eagles 23-14. TJ, how do you think this version shakes out in 2024?
Speaking of saving seasons, the Rams need this one. But I'm gonna go with Philly. I just think Philly just has too much. Like, the way Saquon running that ball, bro. Like, it's hard to stop. And don't get me wrong, the Rams are a nice story. They got 2 rookies.
They probably got the defensive rookie of the year on their Jared Verse is probably going to win that award and maybe a landslide.
Like, bro, like they got two of them because we ain't finna knock Brandon Fisk either, bro. Like they knocked it out the park with them two picks.
I mean, you can make the argument their last two drafts have both been fantastic.
Yeah, like, can't knock that. But I'm gonna go with Philly because I just think that they just got too much offensively. I trust the Eagles offense more than I trust the Rams defense to stop them.
Christian.
Yeah, I like Philly as well. They're clicking on all cylinders. They're running the ball. I don't think they need Jalen Hurts to necessarily win them the game. They just kind of need him to kind of control it because Saquon Barkley can take the game over. But where the Rams can attack Philly is in their run defense. Lots of Kyron Williams early on. Look, I like what the Rams are doing. I think the Eagles escape with a close victory on Sunday night.
I like that.
With that being said, yeah, I'm also going to take the Philadelphia Eagles. I just think they've been too good over the last couple of weeks here, especially since the last 6 weeks where they won every single game in the last 6 games. They've been awesome. They're running the football effectively. Quayon Mitchell also has an argument that he should probably be Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's been incredible in that secondary, shutting down top-notch wide receivers in the NFL. So give me the Philadelphia Eagles. Although I do think the Rams are going to make things interesting, but I don't think it'll be enough as they'll fall in this game. To the final game, Monday Night Football, and we got the Harbaugh Bowl. Last time these two teams, the Harbaugh Bowl was a thing, I think was in the Super Bowl. I don't think they played since that Super Bowl where Jim Harbaugh was the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. Last time these two teams played was last year. Justin Herbert was not in this game, but Baltimore still won 20-10 as they double up the Chargers. In the 2024 version, the Chargers are a very interesting team. So, they give up points. Their defense isn't that good. And Justin Herbert has been, especially the last week, was just throwing FDRs all over the field. This Ravens defense has shown that they can be had by a good passing game, especially in the secondary, as they have holes in their secondary. I'm going to reluctantly take the Chargers, but it's hard to take it's hard to go against that Baltimore Ravens offense. But I'm going to take the Chargers, but I would not be shocked if John Harbaugh gets the victory over Jim Harbaugh. But in this one, I'm taking the Khakis. TJ.
I'm going pissed off Baltimore Ravens. I ain't saying nothing else. I'm going pissed off Baltimore Ravens.
Christian.
David.
Oh, let's go, baby.
Let's go. TJ, I might need you on this one too. 1, 2, 3.
Shameless plug number 3.
Baby. Look, Baltimore beat themselves the other day. You lost to a team that didn't even score a touchdown on you. Do you know the taste and the look of salt that's probably on their face right now after that? And that was the worst game Lamar's played all season long. He's going to come into this one with a chip on his shoulder. The Chargers, I said this to TJ on Sunday night during the game, David. Chargers should be ashamed of themselves because they should have won that game against the Bengals by more than what they did. They literally let the Los Angeles Chargers climb back into the grand scheme of things and ultimately get back in this game. But the Bengals, unfortunately, shot themselves in the foot. This is going to be fun. The Harbaugh brothers going at it for, I think this is the third time, if I'm not mistaken. I remember they met on Thanksgiving all those years ago. And then obviously the Super Bowl in 2013. And now this time, I remember when I saw this game on the schedule, I just said to myself, I'm going to be previewing this one. But the Chargers are going to do what every team that's played the Baltimore Ravens has done. And they're going to attack that Baltimore secondary. They're going to attack them, and they have the guys up front to throw pressure at Lamar Jackson. I preview this one on Friday. Be on the lookout.
And with that being said, that has been our Week 11 Monday Night Football recap, Week 12 preview and predictions. We also gave out our game balls. Thank you very much for joining us here at Prime Sports World. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast as we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and the Huddle Sports Network. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. And gentlemen, I'm David Huffman, TJ Hopkins from the Daily Blitz, Mr. Christian Simpson. And gentlemen, what do we do here at the Prime, my friends?
We bring the heat,
baby.
Yes, sir. We'll be back here tomorrow doing Fantasy Football Weekly. You should see TJ back here on Thursday doing the crossover, and then Christian Simpson should be back on Friday as we do College Football Showdown here at Prime Sports World. All of those will be on Facebook, YouTube, and the Huddle Sports Network. So just keep an eye out for all that content. Thank you all very much for joining us. You all have a good night and stay safe out there. And it's going to get real cold here in Fort Wayne. So I don't know what the weather's like there in New York, Christian, but it's going to be potentially snowing here over the next couple of days.
60 and sunny. Y'all can have it.
He say 60 and sunny.
We'll be back here tomorrow. You guys all have a good night. Stay safe out there. Peace out, gentlemen.